yourself getting into your car. There's a big yellow moving truck in front of you. This is it. You're moving. New people, new place, new everything. I want to share with you a few of the journeys that I've been on and some of the life lessons I've learned and I'm still learning. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and guests. In the 2nd grade, I began taking piano lessons. I can remember I came home from school every day, would get a snack, set the timer on the oven for 30 minutes, went downstairs, and I practiced. Now, I would do this even on weekends and vacations. Always scheduled my practice time before my playtime. The summer between 7th and 8th grade, I started taking flute lessons. Now I'm practicing 2 instruments every day. For the most part, I loved it. It was really rewarding when the music got more difficult and I would be able to accomplish those pieces and even get awards for those pieces. When I became a junior in high school, I started to teach private flute lessons and decided I would probably go into music as my life career. Lesson number 1, discipline. Today, my students will ask me, how much should I practice? And I say, well, how good do you want to be? Anything worth accomplishing takes work and discipline. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how disciplined do you think you are? I grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I went to college in Springfield, Missouri. The first week of school, I met my future husband. 11 months later, we got married. All of our belongings fit in his Monte Carlo. We headed back to Springfield, Missouri to continue our education. Just 2 semesters later, we rented the smallest U-Haul truck. All of our belongings fit in the truck, plus several of our friends' belongings fit in that truck, and we headed to the Youngstown, Ohio area, which he called home. About a year later, our daughter, Kristen, was born. When she was about 3, we then traveled to Sydney, Ohio, and took our first ministry position. We were youth and music pastors. And after 13 months, that position ended abruptly. We were left unemployed with a small child. Don't fear, a few days later, we had another opportunity come our way in Bradenton, Florida. Well, now we are packing up a mid-sized U-Haul truck and heading down to Florida. We were there for a total of 6.5 years. The last 5 years we were music pastors. In the last 6 months of that time, feeling like things are about to change again in our ministry. And lo and behold, we received another phone call from the church in Sydney, Ohio that we started off in ministry at to become the senior pastors. We ended up going back, this time in a large U-Haul truck. And we were in Sydney for a total of 11 years. Our daughter then got married in June of '01. And during that summer, we're feeling like, something's up, something's going to change again. Sure enough, it did. We received a call in the Columbus area, and we became associate pastors there. For 2.5 years, my husband was on staff there, while I am developing a full-time teaching studio. Left that position, he joined me in teaching full-time. We continued that for 5.5 years. We averaged about 100 students every week coming to our home. Everything looked great on the outside. We are married over 30 years. We've got a great reputation in the community, and we like what we're doing. But yet underneath there's something going on. It's unsettled. It's just not, we're just not happy. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? Yeah, that's where we were too. While we were in Columbus, we did build the largest house that we'd ever had. Well, do you know what that means when you have more room? You collect more stuff. Well, that also means that if and when you move, you have to get a larger moving truck, which costs more. So I want to ask you, is the clutter in your life costing you more than it's worth?
Yes.
So lesson number 2, declutter. So the position that took us to Columbus lasted 2.5 years. I think I covered that. And then last August, we were down here visiting Kristen and Joe. We had come down numerous times to visit. We've loved North Carolina. Before her and her husband moved down here, we loved North Carolina. They just beat it to us down here. And went to visit a house that her and her husband thought that they were going to rent because their lease was going to be up in December. So we're sitting in the kitchen of this house, and my husband is feeling like, wow, this house feels like home. I mean, what's up? And more than the house he grew up in, he felt like it was home. Well, Kristen and I, he did not know this. We were conniving behind his back on how the four of us could move into this house together and share expenses. But it had to be his idea. Well, the Lord kind of took care of that for us, and he felt like, I think it's time for us to start stepping on the edge and looking at the view and seeing the possibility of moving down here. Well, our house has to sell, right? You don't want to leave an empty house, especially in this economy. This is Sunday, August 2nd. We are driving back to Ohio, discussing all that has to take place for us to move. Tuesday, August 4th, a former client who had been transferred to Texas pops his head in my studio, hadn't been back to Ohio since he moved to Texas. And he says, hi. And I said, what are you doing here? And he says, we are moving back to the area. Do you know anyone who has a house for sale in this neighborhood? And I went, oh, duh. Except I can't talk to you because I have a student right here. So he went and talked to my husband for a few minutes. Long story short, 6 weeks later, his house sold in Texas. He bought our house. We closed the day before Thanksgiving. We moved here the day after Thanksgiving. And a week before I started, before we moved down here, I started a new business in the world of gluten-free, and I don't know where my prop is. It has disappeared. Anyway, I started a new business. I help those who are wheat and or gluten intolerant enjoy the sweeter things in life by providing a gluten-free cookbook, which you are supposed to see right now, and baking classes. So we had all kinds of reasons to stay where we were. We were, there was security, we had emotional attachments, not to mention income. But it wasn't the plan and purpose for our lives. So lesson number 3, find your happy place. Don't be afraid to leave that comfort zone. Believe me, it's scary, I know. We are like walking on water right now. So please remember the lessons that I am learning. Be disciplined, declutter,